Hey everyone, it's me here with my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about how music creates emotional narrative in film. Because you know that scene in movies where the hero is walking through the door and we hear the iconic two-note motif representing the villain approaching? Or when the timpani hits a dramatic low C just before our hero swings into action? Music in film is more than just something to fill the silence between fight scenes. It can heighten tension, drive the plot forward, make us laugh or cry. But how does it do this? Well, let's find out. So the earliest forms of film were silent. They didn't have any music or sound effects added at all. The audience would simply read the dialogue on screen like it was a comic strip. This led to the use of piano or small ensembles to perform popular songs while the film was being shown. As the films became longer and more complex, so did the music. Soon full orchestras were being employed to create an original score to accompany the film. Film composers began experimenting with different musical ideas to see what worked best for creating atmosphere and emotion. Composers like Max Steiner and Bernard Herrmann developed musical motifs that became synonymous with certain characters, genres, and emotions. A motif is basically a recurring theme that represents something important in the story. It usually has a distinctive rhythm, harmony, or melody that helps to establish the character's personality or foreshadow their actions. For example, in Gone with the Wind, the main theme represents Scarlett O'Hara. When the orchestra plays it, we know she's either on screen or about to appear. And one of the most famous motifs comes from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. This two-note figure on the strings represents the character Norman Bates and his dark side, which also represents evil in general. This technique of associating a particular piece of music with a character, idea, or object is called thematic transformation. By transforming the same theme in different ways, composers can create links between scenes and characters, and develop a sense of continuity throughout the film. In addition to thematic transformation, composers use other techniques to create emotional impact. One of these is leitmotif, which is the German word for leading motif. It's when the same musical idea keeps coming back in different contexts to highlight some aspect of the drama. Another is ostinato, which is a short repeating musical phrase. Ostinatos are often used to build tension or create a sense of atmosphere. For example, in Jaws, John Williams composed an ostinato figure in the key signature of E-flat major. E-flat was considered the scariest key signature because it was furthest away from the tonic or home key of C major. This created an uneasy feeling and built suspense until the shark finally appeared. In modern films, composers might use a synthesizer or computer-generated sounds to create these effects. But no matter what instruments are used, the goal is always the same: to create an emotional response in the audience. Now let's talk about the role of orchestration in creating emotional impact. This refers to the composer's choice of instruments and how they're arranged in the orchestra. For example, a large orchestra with lots of brass and percussion instruments will create a very different effect than a small ensemble with strings and woodwinds. During the Hollywood scoring era of the 1930s to 1960s, film composers often chose lush, romantic scores with sweeping string melodies and dramatic brass fanfares. This was because the studios wanted their films to appeal to a wide audience, and this type of music was popular at the time. However, as tastes changed in the late 20th century, film composers began experimenting with new sounds and styles. Some composers like Ennio Morricone and Bernard Herrmann used unusual instruments and unconventional harmonies to create unique soundtracks that match the film's distinctive style. For example, in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Morricone used a harmonica to represent the main character. The harmonica was chosen because it was an instrument that was commonly associated with the American West. And in Psycho, Bernard Herrmann used a large off-stage orchestra to create a sense of unease and suspense. This was particularly effective in the shower scene where the strings suddenly cut off, as if someone had turned off the volume on the radio. It's these creative choices in instrumentation that help make film music so powerful. Film music can evoke a wide range of emotions in the audience. It can make us laugh, cry, be scared, or even feel nostalgic. Sometimes a film's music is based on the culture or time period in which the film is set. Other times, the music is used to emphasize the emotions of a scene. In romantic comedies, for instance, the music swells during a kiss to underscore how passionate the lovers are. On the other hand, a horror movie might feature fast, dissonant music to accompany a scary scene. Music can also be used to make us feel sympathetic towards a character. When we hear a sad melody, we might think of someone who's lost or alone and feel sorry for them. Even though they're fictional characters, we can still form emotional bonds with them and care about what happens to them. And sometimes the music makes us laugh. Comedy films often feature funny, fast-paced music that's meant to be lighthearted and entertaining. The power of music in film lies in its ability to tap into our emotions and make us feel something. Whether the music is happy or sad, scary or funny, it adds another layer of meaning to the film. Take a moment to think about your favorite movies. What kind of music do they have? How does the music make you feel? I remember watching The Lion King as a kid and being deeply moved by the music. Elton John and Tim Rice's songs really captured the film's themes of love, loss, and responsibility. When I hear the song Circle of Life today, I'm instantly transported back to that childhood experience. The same is true of many other films. The music of Star Wars, Harry Potter, and The Lord of the Rings has become an integral part of my life. It's a soundtrack that plays in the background of my memories. So now I want to turn things over to you. What's your favorite film music? How does it make you feel? And if you'd like to learn more about the art of film music, I highly recommend checking out the book Film Music by Catherine Kalinack. It is a great introduction to the subject and covers everything from the history of film, music to the major composers and film studios of Hollywood's golden age. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.